agenda, we are in the welcome at this moment. Salma is going to walk us through the latest Sage Intacct R2 key highlights. Then George will cover the customization opportunities in Sage Intacct. Then after that, we will have some time to address your questions at the end. Again, please feel free to interact with us via the webinar environment. We definitely want to make this impactful and valuable as possible for you guys today. With that, I'll give you the floor, Zelma.
Thank you very much. Hello, everybody. So today in the R2 highlights, we're going to go over a few things, starting off with reclassifying credit card transactions, joint payee checks, splitting apart the time and expense application, special character restrictions on certain fields, retirements on the customer payment services, customer refunds, affiliate entity standard dimensions, and lastly would be the Sage Intacct import services, and that would follow with a demo for that import services. Okay, so our reclassifying the credit card transactions, this would be an enablement in the credit card transactions. The permissions that would be needed would be within that cash management application. So it's under the credit card transaction. It'll be a little checkbox where it says reclass. There's a few limitations on this. So it currently only applies to reclassifying GL. It cannot reclass, the transactions if it was not directly created from cash management. And like I said, it's only for GL accounts at the moment. There's no ETA currently on the other dimensions yet, but that is to come. The next one is the joint payee checks. So what are the joint payee checks? So for instance, if you manage payments to vendors who subcontract part of their work, the new joint check feature pretty much makes it easy for you to pay both the primary vendor and their subcontractors. You can add one or more joint payees to any bill. You can issue two-party checks, it's pretty effortlessly. And then all you need to do is just choose to apply those joint payments at either the bill level or even the line item level. And then down below we have our steps on how we can do that. So first thing you need to do is go to your AP configuration, enable that joint payee. It'll be like a little checkbox in the configuration setting. You would enter the name, on the AP bill, it just says joint payees on that tab. You'll select that bill for payment, choosing that payment as a joint check. And then you'll select that payment for the payee line. You would issue it and confirm that payment, just like you normally do when you print out checks. And then that one check per payee grouping will be created. To add on top of that, this is just an example of how it would look like if the number of characters maximizes, right? So if you have less than 60 characters, your font size would be 11. And as you can see, it's on the little screenshot down on the bottom one, how it will look like, and say if your characters start increasing, the font size will start lowering as well. So the top screenshot shows how it would look like if there is more characters on the check. Now we're going to talk about splitting apart the time and expense. So as of last week, the time and expense was a application that was joint, that was together, right? Sage Intacct went ahead and separated those two applications. If you are already subscribed to those applications, then you would not need to go into your permissions to have those split out. Those would automatically be split out for you. Say if you are looking to subscribe for time and expense, you would have to subscribe to both time, and then subscribe to expense as well, and go down through those permissions, which they would be separated. We have a few restrictions on special characters. The example above, which is in bold, are the special characters that have been restricted. If you attempt to save these as an AP term or account label, which contains those special characters above, Sage Intacct will just display an error message. All you need to do to proceed is just remove those special characters before saving the record. So Sage is going to be retiring Authorize.net and PayPal integrations in November. This is just kind of Sage letting you know that if you are using these at the moment, let's go ahead and look for an alternative software that we can use. Sage recommends VersaPay, which is going to be a great alternative to use after that November 7th, or obviously before. Customer payment services and APIs for bank and credit card accounts will no longer process those payments after that date. And then the subscription on the right hand side, which is the AR and the payment services, will need to be subscribed for. This is a new one that's going to be coming soon. Recording your customer refunds. Retiring the old one, the new ability to record customer refunds in AR. It will streamline your refund management, which ensures accurate documentations. It will eliminate any manual balancing adjustments, especially for the credits to refund. The benefits to this would be increased reporting accuracy. You would have up-to-date customer balances for financial reports and how to keep track of those. Your books, again, will be a little bit more tidier now. Close out credits easily and effectively. You'll be able to resolve inactive accounts. So efficient, refund and zero out any of those accounts for customers who have some type of, credit balance with, no planned future invoices. And then lastly would be your audit trail. Your audit trail will be, provided with clear audit trails for all your refunds. It will enhance your transparency. Our next one is the affiliate entity standard dimension. Now, what is that? It would automatically tag and track any inter-entity journals for clear reporting. It simplifies the inter-entity reconciliation and automates any eliminations and the consolidation as well. And it is here to enhance any detail and accuracy for your due to and due from balances in your financial reports. Lastly is the Sage Intacct import services. This would be something that you would go into your permissions to enable. But once you do have it enabled, same way that you go through your import data, it would be on the top of the screen. You can go ahead and import the following, right? We have fixed assets, which you could only create at the moment. You have your general ledgers, chart of accounts, statistical accounts. And then within the company, you have the classes where you could only create at the moment. And then you can create and update the departments and locations. What's not available right now, which is going to be coming as, Sage Intacct works on those, would be the other dimensions as well, kind of like what we have done in the past with those import datas. Let me go ahead and switch my screen. I can go ahead and demo this for you. Okay. So same place I would go to import my data would be the company dropdown under setup, import data, and I'll have my new import workspace available. So I'll go ahead and click on this new import services. So now that I have this screen popping up, kind of like what we saw in that screenshot, I have my welcome, I have my workbooks based off of these applications. So the assets, chart of accounts, classes, departments, dimensions, and statistical accounts. So for this one, I want to go ahead and create new departments. So I'll go ahead and click on create. Let me back this up. Let me exit. Sorry, I did some testing before, but let me go ahead and restart it. So I want to go ahead and create a new one. So I can upload my file, I can drag and drop. Let's go ahead and drag my department file. So I'll go ahead and extract that file into Sage Intacct, give it a few minutes, and our mapping field pops up. So based off of what we have on the template and what the incoming fields are, it kind of shows you what not to import. So do not import to do not import. IDs would be department IDs. The name would be the department name. Any, department title, parent IDs. Managers would be supervisor ID, and then status, where it is active or inactive. I'll go ahead and click on continue, and then I'll have one more place to validate, making sure that my mapping is correct. I'll click on continue again. Now we'll have Intacct prepare the import for you. So give it a few seconds while it works on this. So as you can see, I have two reds that's showing that there is some type of error. It says provide a unique value. These two departments, as you can see, already exists, 100 and 200. So that was the reason why it gave me that error. So I want to go ahead and change this to 150. And I'll change this one to 250. And then this one did not give me an error, as I did not have a 600 department. So that one's good to go. And all I want to do is click on import. It's going to go ahead and work on that import, give it a few more seconds, and it has been created successfully. So let's go ahead and refresh this page. And now I have my 150 department, I have my 250 department, and then that 600 department, which is general. That was it on my end. I will go ahead and pass it to George, as he will go over some more technical aspects.
Hi, everyone. So this is more of a little more technical backend functionality of Sage Intacct. It's more of a page scripting and some simple requests that we have been asked to complete, and sometimes even in the back, before we would say, we can't do it, but now, given the backend functionality of page scripting for a page in Sage Intacct, I'm going to show you some examples of how to do certain things in a Intacct page. Let me just prepare my screen so that we can go over the samples. Hold on just a second. Okay, sorry, I went back to the wrong page. My presentation acted up a little bit. Okay, so I'll forgo the it seems to be acting up. Let me see if it doesn't freeze up again. Okay, so page modifications using page scripting and Intacct. Intacct doesn't formally support page scripting, but it is used for fixed assets, and it is included in all of the uh, companies which subscribe to platform services, which is probably all of them. The script runs in the browser after a page loads, and you can do things like hide fields. You can change labels, highlight important fields, and I'm going to show you that uh, and give you kind of like a code snippet of how to make those changes. So let me change my presenting to a sample company that we have so that we can go through some of the samples. Here we go. Okay, so for this functionality, I believe you need administrator access. So let's say, for example, I am here in the customers screen, and what I want to do for this customer screen, I want to be able to make some changes to the fields when the page loads. In order to get there, you would have to go to one of the pages. So I'm looking at AB Square here as a customer. I would click on More Actions, and I would click on Edit this page. And here, even though it looks pretty complicated, all you would do is drag a script component to this section here. So what this does is it allows you to add custom functionality to when either the page loads or when you click on a button, or even more complicated things like calling another service, kind of like bill.com, things like that. But we're going to keep it simple for now and just focus on modifying fields in the customer screens. So you would click on Edit. And for when the field loads, all we need is a simple page loading query, which looks like this, and it's always like this for the page load. And this is where we would add what we want to do with certain fields. So in this example, I'm going to go through different scenarios. So let's say, for example, I want to hide a field and I want to hide a label. What I would do, and I'm going to show you how to get this information in a bit, is add this code here, and this particular code shows you that I'm going to hide this label, and this is for the last statement date. So in the customer field, I'm going to hide the last statement date. First, let's go and look at it. I commented it out so we won't see any of that for now. So here's the last statement date, this field. But if we go into where we were, the objective, in the edit this page, we would edit this component that we added, and we would enable this script, save it. So there's a difference between save here and save synchronize. So what Intacct allows you to do is save this particular script for where you were when you accessed the edit this page functionality. So we were in view customer. You see here, this is view customer. So if I just wanted it to show or to hide the field in view customer rather than in edit or in add customer, I would just click on save. But if I want to hide that field in all screens, I would click on save and synchronize and select also do it for new customer and also do it for edit customer. So I would click on save. And so now the field that was here below last invoice date is no longer there. So you can actually hide fields. If you go back to edit this page and you edit this, this is where it's hiding it. So as a note, you can actually hide fields and hide it for certain users. For example, you can hide it for certain regions you're in where the browser was loaded. So this is all browser based. It can get pretty complicated where you can also look for anything that the browser would give you, like an IP address or something like that, where you can hide certain fields. So let's keep that there. So I'm going to comment it out. And then the next thing I'm going to do, let's say I wanted to make a field read only, right? Which is different than hiding it. Read only means that it's going to show it, but it's not going to allow you to edit it. So it's a resale number here. So I'm going to save it. And sorry, I'm assuming that we all know that the resale number is there, but we'll take a look at it. We'll disable it. So if you go here to, where's the resale number? I'm going to go to edit. So here in the resale number, it made this field read only. So I cannot, if there was a value in there initially, I cannot change that value. So for example, if you had an import that imports data and you don't want users changing it after the import, you can make this field read only so they can see it, but they cannot edit it. That's a cool functionality. It is different for dropdowns because dropdowns have values you can choose, and it also has a value that you need to see. So what I'm going to do is, you see terms here. I'm going to disable this so that users cannot edit it, because if you run the read-only function like we did for resale number on a drop-down field, it'll still allow them to drop down and select it. So I'm going to add the code to disable that terms field. And since I'm in edit mode, right, and I want to disable that, I'm just going to edit this page here. It doesn't matter if you're in add, edit, or view, but when you save it, it does matter. So I'm going to edit here. I'm going to read that. I'm going to leave that read only. And I'm going to add another instruction for it to disable term name, to disable the dropdown. So I'm going to click on save. And so in this example, I'm going to say save and synchronize. And since in the view customer, you can't really modify it. I want it only in the edit customer here, and I want it in the new customer. So I'm going to save it. And then so now you see here net 30, I can't really click on it, click on the drop down, but it does show the value. So you can do it for drop downs as well. Another example.
Hi, so
Yeah,
sorry. I do want to take a moment and say that if anyone has any questions, you're more than welcome. We're here moderating. So if you're a little bit lost or if you have a questions for George, the floor is here.
Yeah, just feel free to interrupt me or send the chat with a question, because I know it's a little, it can get pretty complicated to do this, but I chose the pretty simple example so that at least you're familiar with the functionality of it. We did provide a handout that does have the sample code that I'm using, so you have that. Okay. So another thing you can do is you can hide entire sections. So you can actually, let's say for example, you do not want your users to go and be confused with all these fields that they need to fill out, like, for example, printed document templates, and you want to simplify things for them. You can go ahead and edit this page again, edit this, and I'm just going to keep the other customizations there, or the scripts there. And I'm going to disable that transaction printing section that we just saw. Okay, so I'm going to save. I'm going to save and synchronize. I'm going to tell it, do it for all screens so that we don't see it ever. So I'm going to save it. And now if you go here, you see that that entire section is gone. It's no longer there. One more thing you can do, I mean, you can do many things, but another thing you can do is you can relabel the field labels. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to relabel the tax ID. Let's see, tax ID field. And before I do that, let's go look at it. Where is the tax ID? The customer? Yeah, tax ID. So here's the tax ID. So what I'm going to do is relabel it to something else. And you can do this for any field in this screen. So I'm going to go here, go to more actions. I'm going to edit this page, go back to my script component that I have, and I'm going to add the script to relabel that field. Oh, it's not tax ID, sorry, it's the resale number. And you know what? Well, there's a perfect opportunity to change that. So to show you something else, save. So I'm going to save and synchronize because I want to show it a new label in all the forms. And resale number, this used to be resale number, now it's resale number, and I relabeled to relabeled. So you can change the label on fields if it's not one of the mass fields that you can rename using terminology in Intacct. So let's say I made a mistake and I wanted to rename tax ID instead, right? So let's go to tax ID. So one way that you can get the actual label ID is to right click on the field. And this is a little technical again, but just to show you that it is possible to do this, I'm going to go here and say, where's this label? So here's the label for tax ID. I'm going to edit this attribute and I'm going to copy it. Close this. And you can also get there by going Control-Shift-C. Will get you that. You can point to whatever field you want and see how it shows you the input number. That's the field ID that you would use. Or if you want the label would be this one, minimum value, object minimum value. Okay, so let's close this. Go to edit this page. And what I'm going to do is change it so that we are not renaming the resale number. We're actually renaming the tax ID. So I'm going to paste what I copied, and I'm going to do tax ID relabeled. Save. And I want it for all forms. So I'm going to save and synchronize. You can also do select all. It'll select it all. And then so if we go to tax ID, which was here, it's now relabeled. So this is relabeled. So you can relabel to anything you want. And this is for all instances of the form, meaning view, edit, and add. One last thing you can do that I will show you is that you can highlight a field. And again, you can highlight a field. Let's say you have users where you want them to focus on certain fields that are required. You can do this based off of user ID when the page loads. but right now we're just doing it carte blanche. So if you edit this page and you edit this, and I'm going to highlight credit limit. So this is credit limit, and I'm going to highlight this field, and I'm going to highlight it yellow. So if you save here, and I want to highlight it for only the entry fields, or if you want, I'll do it all of the pages. So save. So see now, credit limit is highlighted in yellow. So let's say, for example, it's important for you to fill out certain fields based off either a user or a group. You can actually do that, highlight it so that they see exactly where to fill it out. And those are the simpler examples that I have of using page scripting. And again, page scripting is not directly supported by Sage. They won't help you if you to get something changed. And one important thing to mention as well, which hasn't happened in at least 7 years that we've made changes to screens, is that if for whatever reason Intacct decides to rename a field or make schema changes to fields, your changes will be gone. It doesn't mean your script will be gone, but for example, this credit limit, if it's renamed in the back end, which rarely ever happens, it will not highlight yellow anymore. You would have to, edit your script to point to the right field name. And I believe that's it for the simple page scripting. There's more complicated ones, but that's it on page scripting on my end.
Perfect. Thank you so much, George, for that demo. And now we're going to have Zalmai sharing his screen. So perfect. So now we have our live Q&A. So if you have any questions, now is the chance to ask away. Zalmai, I have a question for you. Are there any questions that the Sage Intacct team has received that you think would be valuable for the attendees to hear? Oh, I think you're on mute, Zalmai.
I apologize. I've been talking this
No
whole time.
worries.
Kind of what I was saying was we've had, clients who've been asking for this customer refund, and, Sage does listen to us and the clients, and these ideas go a long way. And for it to get pushed out, these customer refunds is actually going to go a long way and help them out tremendously.
That's super insightful. But if we have no questions, then we've hit the top of our hour. Thank you all so much for your engagement and joining us here today. I want to thank you and Zalmai and George for your participation.
Thank you.
All right. Well,
thank you, everybody.
thank you so much.